Namo Namaste Gurave Mahatmane Vimukta Sangaya Saduttamaya Nityadvayananda Rasaswarupine Bhumne Sada Paradayam Budhamne Namaste, Namaste, Vibho Vishwamurti. Namaste, Namaste, Chidanandamurti. Namaste, Namaste, Tapoyogagamya. Namaste, Namaste, Shrutijnanagamya. Namaste, Namaste, Tapoyogagamya. Namaste, Namaste, Shruti Jnanagamya. Hari, that's all. What is to be discussed? You need not give the papers. Hey, Jiva, sit with the papers. Nobody has to manufacture question. Whether question comes, simply say, ask for the mic and speak about it. Microphone should be given here, the cordless one. Two sides, if we have two, you can keep on two sides. If no question, you can ask on what we have to discuss. We can do that way also. It need not be always a question. If you have you want some clarity about something, you can speak about. Already you have. Who has given? Vijay means which Vijay? Oh, achha. What is the equanimity of the mind? How do you develop equanimity in life? We will discuss. Any other point? Yeah, it will. You can speak. It will come.
Okay. So it's a rather long question.
Then write down and give me.
I've written it down, or so should. Do I read it out, or should I?
It is, But I don't understand many of her words.
Oh.
So somebody, they have to be, as such it is long and you will have to repeat. So write down.
So should I write it down?
You take that trouble of writing down.
I'll do that.
Then the question also will become shorter. Nobody wants to take trouble. Yeah.
For a long time, I've been chanting the Gayatri mantra every night, every morning, 108 times for the comfort of the mind. But recently, as I told Ma Priya, I had a big problem on my hands, and it didn't work. It didn't make me happy. Till somebody told me, chant the Om Rama Rama Rameti. She told me chant that Sahasranamam Tatulyam, because one chanting is equal to a whole Vishwa Sahasranamam. So I began to chant it, and I felt much more stronger and happier. So are there some mantras that are more powerful than others?
How many reply you would like to have to the same question?
No, why
you
did
go
I
to another 3%, they will say something else. If I tell you some other mantra, it is not the way. If mantra chanting helps, it should help normally. Very soon you should change over to certain things. Either a simple mantra which can be a japa mantra, say Namah Shivaya like mantra, which has to be given by a guru who has realized the power of the mantra. Otherwise the mantra will not be having its full effect. This is the first thing. that any mantra, when it is to be chanted throughout, if it is to be given, it should be taken from a person who has realized, experienced the power of the mantra. Then it will have proper power. Otherwise, you can take up any mantra from the book. There are very beautiful mantras, whichever suits you, you can take. But that will not work in this manner. You are wanting to have peace and all. That means it's a sort of initiation is necessary. If not initiation, at least the mantra has to be given, come from a person who has experienced and realized the power of the mantra. This is one point. Then if you go on looking for mantra from each person, which will have greater power, will give you peace, I don't think you will become, after taking 10 or 12 mantras from 12 people, you will become all the more agitated, because it is just like looking for something from the world, that we run after certain things. When we get, we are disturbed by something else. When we get that also, we are disturbed by something else. But it never strikes us that nothing from the world can make us permanently peaceful or fulfilled. It should strike, no? If you think that nobody in the world, by riches, by fame, by power, has anybody become happy. But somebody gives us some money. I was suffering from lack of money. Somebody has given me some money. So I become happy for some time. But very soon you will not be disturbed by money, but by something else. Another becoming more rich, becoming a little richer, also you will be disturbed in that case. Is it not? If we analyze the world properly, then we should understand, by getting anything which is giving a short time pleasure or some short time fulfillment, it is not going to work if we want for a permanent development or so. So we should look for something permanent. That is the first thing. That will not come from whether you do the Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Bharananya or so. Because it is saying that it is like Sahasranama, like chanting 1,000 names. So it has got more power. It is actually not so. Any such chanting, to make it powerful, what do I have to do? That we have to understand. Suppose so many people you will find, they have been given the mantra Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. They are going on chanting for 40, 50, 60 years. If you ask, we find that in most of the cases nothing has happened. But they still go on chanting. Or simply for Gayatri Mantra also, it should have worked. It is not the mantra has less power. Mantra is very powerful. It is the chanting person who has to become powerful. That we should remember. The Japamala. People go on chanting all rubbishes of the universe. They are going on speaking, talking, shouting at the daughter-in-law or the mother-in-law, and the japa is going on. Particularly daughter-in-law, I should say, because no daughter-in-law will easily take to mantra japa like that. But you will find they are going on chanting with the japamala, but the mind is running haywire, blaming this person, condemning that person, sometimes looking for this, looking for that. So it is we are not to blame the japa mala for that or the chanting for that. We have to see that the person who is doing it, how is he doing, how is her or his mind working. It reminds me of a very actual incident that we had been going to a Mahatma in Rishikesh, Kailash Ashram. His disciple was a brahmacharin at that time, Naishtika brahmacharin. So people often would bring some Rudrakshamala or some Svatika and the devotees come and they ask for that from there. So this disciple of Maharaj used to give the devotees that mala. So a very close devotee of him who was looking after the Maharaja in various ways, his daughter had come that day when we were there. And he wanted one Spatika mala. Quartz. Quartz na Rudraksha bodha na. Quartz, Spatik means quartz, like very clear crystal. So when he gave it, after looking for it, he gave the mala to the girl, lady, maybe 20, 25 years old. She asked that, महाराज कैसे जानेंगे कि ये सच है? ओ महाराज, how do I know that this quartz is a real quartz? It is such. Such means real quartz. He looked at the girl for some time, then he replied, जो जपे उनको सच होना चाहिए. The person who is doing the japa with the mala, he has to become true, not the mala. It is our japa which is making us progress or peaceful. Anything is happening, it is because of our mind, application of the mind. Now, if you have some more faith on a certain person, whatever he gives, he will have some better effect. That is why in treating our physical diseases also, you cannot ask your friend to get the medicine from the doctor. You have to go to the doctor, talk to him, and depending on your faith on the doctor also the medicine will work. The same medicine given by another doctor on whom you don't have the faith, it will not work that well. Is it not? These are all practical truths. If it is homeopathy, then I don't have to say. It is only the doctor's matter. Medicine, there is hardly any material. But in allopathy also it is true that you have faith in the doctor or not is the main thing. So you look for a doctor on whom you can have faith, whose prescriptions you will be following without any doubt. Go to that doctor and ask him, and whatever he prescribes you have to follow it very well. Like that. So I was talking about Namah Shivaya, suppose. Now, have we ever thought that what is this Namah Shivaya? What is the meaning of Namaha? We were explaining to the children the other day. When we are saying Namaha, what does it mean? It means prostration, is it not? So what is the meaning of prostration? Where do we prostrate? We prostrate before something which is considered to be greater than us, be it an image of God, or elderly people also we can do, or Jnana Vriddha, those who have more knowledge, we prostrate before them also. It is, we regard somebody to be great. So we show our gratitude by prostration, is it not? So by that what happens? It is the greatness of the person. Great in what sense? It can be many things. That should work in our mind. That suppose you are prostrating before a saint, your mind should give saintliness a very high pedestal. Then only your prostration will be meaningful. If you don't have that feeling, then that prostration will be just a show. Generally it is like that. To know a person, that where the knowing his quality and finally you bow down to the quality, means I have a fondness and love for that quality. If you don't have love for that quality, then yesterday was one boy was asking that how to please Saraswati. Why? Now Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge. So why do you need? No, because I have exam. So it is like bribing Saraswati. So I was explaining to him, it is not like that. When you are invoking Saraswati, whether you do it with a shloka, he wanted to know some shloka. There are many shlokas, maybe one is very common. But even if you chant the shloka to invoke Saraswati, the basic point here is that to your mind, Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge. So unless you develop a gratitude or a honor for the knowledge, you give knowledge a very high position in your mind, this will not work. It is the yearning for knowledge in your mind that will bring in the success in your studies. Not whether Saraswati is there or not, it does not matter at all. Or any other thing, it is there or not, it doesn't matter. It is in your mind the regard for that particular thing. Here it is the knowledge. How much you have given the knowledge the supreme position, it will depend absolutely on that. So in any such work, that Namaha we are saying, that we must consider that where I am prostrating, I am giving him the highest pedestal, or at least a higher pedestal. Then only we will be feeling grateful about it. Now that Shivaya also, to Shiva we are saying. Normally we will have an image of Shiva or some Murti or so, we will think that Shiva. But truly speaking, Shiva means our Atma. Shiva means auspiciousness. And the most auspicious we can think of is our Atma, because in Atma there is no division, nothing. I will not go into the detail of it. But when we are saying Namah Shivaya, that means we must be, the Atma means it is the highest truth. So unless you're in our mind, we have given the truth, the search for truth, or acquiring that truth, a very high position, we will not have the prostration. The prostration will not have any meaning. So it becomes meaningful when we give the Shiva, the highest Shiva, whatever he represents, the very high or the supreme position, and we feel gratitudes towards that, seeing the greatness of Creator, how the whole world is moving, how He has created me, and how I cannot do anything. It is all depending on, call it nature, call it God, whatever. We must have a feeling of, we must give Him a supreme position in us, in our mind. Then only it will become meaningful, our prostration will work also, it will become very powerful. So that is why we always say that we call God supreme, but nobody has ever given God the supreme position. Is it not so? Whenever some marriage is there, God is forgotten. My sister has come, God is forgotten. Somebody has abused me, God is forgotten. That man becomes most important in life, and how I give the retort, I can give the reply, a proper reply, so that all these things become supreme. So really speaking, when we give God the supreme position, then only our worship starts becoming fruitful. That is why it is said that Devo Bhutva Devan Apyayati. In Murti Puja or idol worship or any God worship, the highest position is when you become that God. How can you become that God? You are doing Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. That means Shiva should be fully awake in your mind. You must be thinking of Shiva. So by thinking of Shiva, it should be so one-pointed, so powerful thinking that you should forget the whole world. When I say whole world, you have forgotten your own small identity also, because it is part of the world. It is in nature that your personality, that is also part of the world. So your concentration, your regard, your wholesome devotion for Shiva becomes so much that you have forgotten the world as well as yourself. So what will be there in your mind at that point? Tell me. Only Shiva. So have you not become Shiva there? Outside others are seeing, but what within is you have become Shiva at that point. That is why this statement is there. That when it becomes like that, then it is the fulfillment of Murti Puja or any other worship. So I would suggest that, I am the third or the fourth doctor for you. I would suggest that you think, given to introspection, and try to work on that part of the mind. Find out, what do I really want? What am I actually wanting? And keep your whole focus on that. And for that you read any scripture, anything you like, or go to any satsang or Mahatma or so. And try to see that the inmost aspiration of the mind is only looking for that, or pure means it is looking only for that, nothing else. So first of all we have to look into the mind and try to know, what am I looking for, and sort out there, find out that I should always, from the deepest realm of our mind, I should look only for the truth, or only for the truth, or God, or only for the God. Depending on that, we will automatically progress. The nature will take care of it. If guru is necessary, you will be automatically taken to your guru. If some book is needed, you will find that the book is coming to you and guiding you. It is your wholesomeness that is harmonizing the nature, all the forces of nature to take you to perfection. Does it mean? So you have to think well, go within your mind and pick up the whatever is the purest thing, the inmost aspiration of desire of the mind, and think about that and take to that. Then all help will come from God Himself, from all the sides. Did you understand what I said? It is related to whatever we were discussing yesterday. Have you written down? So you are listening to this? Yes. Can you not shorten it and say in one sentence?
Okay. So we've been talking a lot about the self. But there's this word selfish. Is it always bad to be selfish?
That mic also is blinking. When we say selfish, we use small s. And when we say self, we use a large s. The two are just the opposite. The selfish, when we are saying, the person is too much clinging to his own personality, which he considers to be himself or herself, his own idea about the I, and clinging so much that he is not considering anything else in the world. Then more and more selfish means more and more like that. That is, the whole focus is on what I have to gain, what I am gaining, what people are thinking about me. Is all these problems for the children also is there. Yesterday only I understood. What people are thinking about me. You think of the people, don't allow your mind to think what people are thinking of me. So the medicine there is, you think of others. So I suggested that why don't you join some NGO to do some seva work for the people. See how the poor people are living, how the poor children are not having education, how they are not having a meal proper, they are collecting from the garbage and taking food. All these things. Be sympathetic to that and you will find that all this self-centeredness or constricted mindset is already gone. It has become transformed.
So, in several places, the people tell you to be selfish, but I think they're not talking about that small s. In a way, even to find the big S, you have to have some degree of selfishness. I mean, it takes some time out for yourself, because if you
I understand, perhaps. First of all, in the language, we never use the big S, self or selfish. That word we don't use. We use self-oriented or self-centered again is small s. We can say self-focused also. There are other things which are not coming to my mind. But what you are asking is, in the name of the capital self, people become more selfish. That must be your point.
To some degree.
So understood. It is very common.
To be a little bit, because if not, there's only 24 hours. You can't be everything to everyone and also yourself.
Swamiji, she is asking that in order to focus on the pursuit, you have to give some time and priority to the pursuit. So, but that also is considered selfish.
That question I replied the last day, that selfishness in spirituality, the topic was not selfishness, the topic was desire. The desire for the capital self, for your pursuit, let us say, that should, if it is a true pursuit, that should take away all other small desires for the worldly things, worldly situations and all. Now, not a word. Why are you asking for the mind? It should take away all other things, all other desires. When all other desires are over, then you have to drop this desire also. That is, then no more you should look for when I will become self-realized, how can I become self-realized. Actually, from beginning also, nobody does it properly. There is a lot of fake pursuit in it. If it is I am looking for the self, then first of all, just now as I was explaining, we should understand what is that self, what is it representing, that capital self. When we look into that I want to become self-realized, what is that self? It is universal. It is not only universal, it is transcendental, in which the whole universe is appearing to be. So it encompasses everything, all creatures, all human beings, everything. So when I am wanting to become that self, which is actually I am, but because of my ignorance of delusion, I am not able to know that I am. But the fact is that I want to become from this small self to that universal self. Then should I not become more loving towards others, more sacrificing for others and everything? That means basically, I can explain it mathematically, whether it helps or not, I don't know. The whole spiritual sadhana, if you call it spiritual sadhana, is from moving from the small self, which I consider to be myself, to that point where the self is everything. That is, from a small body-mind limited personality to an identity, to an infinite identity. Is it understood? So, what can be the process for that? By what process the small will become infinite? Tell me. Expansion. Only when it expands it can move towards infinity. But if it gets more and more contracted by anything, then it is walking the other way. It is going the opposite direction. Is it not? So we have to think in our pursuit also that the first point is I am constricted, I am small, my personality is constricted, small, egoistic personality. From there I am wanting to become universal, infinite, all that. So what should be the sadhana to take me from this initial point to the final goal? It's very simple, that we look within, whatever makes the mind, you feel the sense of expansion is the goal, is the path. So we should do everything that will expand our mind, make it more and more vaster and vaster, like that. Then I am automatically walking the true path. But instead of that, wherever I am becoming constricted, if I think by doing that I am becoming more selfish, more constricted, that means I am walking the opposite direction. So actually when you really walk that path and start expanding your mind, you will not have to think of the goal at all, whether it is infinity or not, nothing will come. Because this path of expansion itself is so joyful, so fulfilling, that the path itself it's a constantly moving goal, like the river water flowing always. That you will always be fulfilled with your pursuit, that every time you love people whom you were not loving earlier, you were not considerate earlier, you start becoming compassionate to them, loving them. You will find that gives so much of joy that you will forget that I am working for self-realization or anything. But you will automatically walk towards the self. But if you remember that I have to become self-realized, there the I is the more important, not the self-realization. Do you understand this point? I want to become self-realized, not others. So that I gets more and more emphasis, and that makes us constricted. So finally we have to leave that desire for self-realization also. Then only we become. Does it make sense? Equality you have asked. Now equanimity and equality, whatever it is, you were asking from the spiritual point of view? So in the second chapter it is discussed in great detail, also in the fifth and sixth chapter, many places it is there. The question is, normally we always have, we cling to what we like and we hate what we dislike. Can I see your face? Can you come somewhere? When I am speaking, I should be able to see your face. We are always, the moment the situation is favorable, that what I wanted, what I like, we get elated about it. The moment the situation is not favorable, we want to avoid, we dislike it, then the dvesha comes. This is called raga and dvesha. That is, if it is favorable, we start clinging to it. If it is unfavorable, we develop some intolerance or dislike towards that. So equanimity in its real practical form means to be free of this bheda buddhi, or free of this differential notion, differential orientation, that even if we get something I like or which is good, I will be happy, but it will not overwhelm me. If I have to face something I dislike, I will not be intolerant or hateful about it. I will not try to run away from it. I will accept that also. So it develops a great acceptance towards whatever is happening in the world or around you. This is where we start with the equality or equanimity. In Bhagavad Gita 2.48, second chapter, 48th verse, it is given that Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. See, you are asking, equality means samatva. Here they are saying that samatva is called yoga. Yoga is called samatva. Yoga is defined as samatva. Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva. When we are equal in siddhi as well as asiddhi, that is successful as well as unsuccessful in whatever we are doing. Now it starts at that point, but finally it takes us to, that is 6 point something, where it says, Atmaupamena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna. Can you tell me the verse number? Sukham va yadiva dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. Huh? 6 chapter 32. 6.32. See, there he has defined as samatva as the yoga. Now he is saying sa yogi paramo mata. That yogi is the greatest, according to me, Krishna is saying. Now, which yogi is the great? Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna. Then he is adding also sukham va yadiva dukkham. That is when he sees everywhere as his Atma. That means his own self. That is the actual, that is the truth. That the whole world is appearing on the consciousness, the Atma, the self. But it has to become a feeling also. He should not have a differential feeling about it. A person can be a criminal. He is not going to become criminal by loving a criminal, but he should not hate the criminal, because he is also an expression of my own self there. Whether it is a dog or any other creature, everywhere he will have that same kind of love or owning up. Everything will be owned up by him as Atma. It is not only that, samam pashyati, this, he will not see it with the eyes. Pashyati means sees. So we may think that, then all these differences will not be seen. How will he live in the world? Will he eat the iron ball and what will you do? It's not that seeing. It is actually in other places in Bhagavad Gita they are using the word ikshate. Ikshate yoga yukta atma sarvatra samadarshana. Ikshate means it is a vision of the buddhi, of the understanding. You can say bodhi also. That he realizes that everything is Atma and Atma alone. That is the ultimate samatva, because there is no division at all. So the last division to go is I am somebody, I am seeing the world. So the world and me are different. There is some knowledge, I am the knower. Knower and knowledge are different. But the ultimate of this samatva is where this subject-object division also gets transcended. He goes to the transcendental level where this subject-object division also is not there. That is the ultimate of samatva. When everything is subject, you can say, but actually when there is no object, will you call it a subject? So it goes beyond the subject-object level. So it is transcendental. That is the ultimate of samatva. So we start from simple thing like generally we run after sukha, run away from dukkha. So when we are able to be completely stable in sukha as well as dukkha, that is, we should not run away from dukkha, we should find out ananda in dukkha also. That is another statement which I have to give a long lecture. But let us know at least that there will be a placidity in sukha as well as dukkha. We start from there. If there is success, yes, we appreciate that, we are happy about it, but we are not elated by that. If there is failure, I accept it because of certain here and there, either situation or by my inefficiency, I have accepted the failure has come. If something has to be done, I will do it again, taking care of this. But I will not be depressed. Sukha dukkha will never be equal. What is meant by the samatva in sukha dukkha is, in sukha he will not be elated, in dukkha he will not be depressed. Otherwise he is becoming a stone. He will not have, if it is equal means he will neither have sukha nor have dukkha. Is it not? So he will have sukha, he will have dukkha, but in both he will have placidity of the mind. So he will not be scared of death. When somebody has died and he has gone, he will not start crying like the other people, those who are crying around. He may shed tears, but not wailing and howling. Shed tears if it's related to certain things and all. It's not that we are not supposed to laugh seeing somebody dying or so. So depending on that, his behavior will be all right, but there will be placidity in both sukha and dukkha. Well, Swamiji had given a very good example when I think it is written in my diary, when we had joined the ashram, very soon after that in 1987 or 88. He said that when you have learned swimming, if the water doesn't have the drowning power, will you enjoy swimming? When we are swimming, because the water has the drowning power, we are able to keep afloat by learning swimming. And we enjoy swimming only when the water has the drowning power. So in dukkha also, when you find that I am not getting overwhelmed or depressed in dukkha, you will get the joy of what we call vairagya. Vairagya means impersonality or impartiality also. That is, whether there is death in your family or others or so many other cases, you will be able to do whatever is to be done, but there will be an aloofness, a sky-like dimension of the mind. You will not be overwhelmed by the situation. Similarly, in favorable situation also, when there is prosperity or anything, you will accept everything, but you will not get overwhelmed by anything at all. That is the samatva. Is it meaningful what I am saying? Nowadays, the words do not come easily. You have got your answer? If you had been Bengalis, I would have suggested you learn Rabindra Sangeet. He was such a great yogi that everywhere, in every incident of life, he brought in the divinity. There is a song in which he is singing, Jeke ho more diyecho shukho, diyecho tari porichoy, shabare ami nomi, Jeke ho more diyecho dukho, diyecho tari porichoy, shabare ami nomi. That means I prostrate before everybody. Two kinds he has mentioned. Those who have given me suffering, this is very important. Through the suffering they have given me the touch of you, O Lord. In suffering we don't get the touch of Lord. So I prostrate before them because they have given me your touch, O Lord, your sparsha. Through dukkha, through suffering. But what I have got is, through the suffering I have got your touch. I have got you, so to say, the Lord. And those who have given me sukha, through that sukha also they have given me your touch, O Lord. So I prostrate before them also. In Upanishad this is called Ananda. This Ananda word is not used in Bhagavad Gita. Upanishad, that Ananda will be there in both Sukha and Dukkha. In English I use generally the word placidity. Placidity of the mind. Whether it is suffering or that is the beginning line. Thereafter, the whole song is very good. Next question.
Previously in the workshops, we used to sing this song, which I thought you all liked a lot, but now it's sort of disappeared.
Which? Akashavallaepa Vidurago. We are playing it in the morning generally whenever there is some program also. It is in our Song of the Soul.
Yeah.
It is in Viveka Chudamani, na? Viveka Chudamani it is. Akashavallaepa Viduragoham Adityavat Bhasya Bilakshanamoham Aharyavan Nitya Vinishchaloham Ambodhivat Para Vivarjitoham. It is to expand the mind, make it free like the sky, to attain the sky-like dimension. Whatever happens, it doesn't touch the space. Even if there is a nuclear blast, the air might be polluted, but nothing happens to space. Akasha means actually space. Lepa vidura goham means it is I am unaffected, untainted by, like the sky. Adityavad bhasya vilakshanoham. Like the sun, I don't need anybody else to illumine me. I am self-brilliant. Actually, it is more than the sun, because the sun needs the consciousness to reveal it. Without our consciousness, Atma, the sun will not be revealed. But the Atma does not need anything else to reveal it. It is self-revealing. If there is anything else which can reveal the Atma, then that is the Atma, not the Atma which it is revealing. Is it not? Anything that appears, oh, I have seen the Atma. One person had said also, I have seen the Atma today. I have had the, how it is, oh, it is like this, like that. Then that is not the Atma, that is something you have seen. The Atma is who has seen, that is what you are. Aharyavan nitya vinishchaloham. Like the mountain, I am always unshakable. Because the Atma is not an object. Even if you consider the whole creation, it is expanding, moving, it may one day get distracted. So many galaxies are getting into the black hole, so many galaxies are getting produced. So nothing is stable. Even the mountain, he is saying mountain, but mountain also is not stable. But the Atma is not in the entire objective field. Atma you cannot find anywhere in the creation or in the objectude. Actually, to say it should be objectude, that objective field. Because it is the subject who is revealing all the objects. So how can that move? How can that be shaken? If anything, you know that it was here, it has gone there, or there has been a change. Any change is visible. It has to be an object. Is it not? For the subject, we cannot see anything. If the mind is changing, because mind is also an object for the Atma. The mind was depressed, now the mind is delighted. So it is a change in the mind. We are knowing this change only because of the consciousness which is not undergoing any change at all. If the consciousness, the Atma also had undergone that change, we would not have known the change in the mind. For any change, you need a background where unchanging background. Ambodhivat para vivarjito. Like the ocean, I am boundless, unlimited. Why did you suddenly remember this?
I mean, I just hadn't heard anybody sing it in a really long time. I sing it to my cats.
Any other question? One second. He's ask, then I will hear. Huh? Mike?
Good evening, Swami. When the body falls, the Atma goes where?
I have replied because everybody, all our satsangs were on this. So one day here, about 5 years back, I said that I will not reply to this question at all. I have recorded it and put it in the YouTube. You look for that in our YouTube. Easily everything has been clarified about Punarjanma and what happens to the Atma, whether anything happens to this Atma or not, what happens to which, whether it is Jiva. Where is Jiva gone? Or the Atma, everything has been spoken of, and not once. One YouTube piece is very much there. I think it is the Malaysia Satsang only which has been put. But there are others also. What is your question?
Swamiji, not very deep this time, but something happened in the office today. I had the MD come to me and said, Jnana, we need you to run a change management workshop. So I asked him, as in, boss, what's the problem? Our people are embracing change quite effectively, so what is the issue? He said, no, people are fighting the change that the organization is going through. So then I asked him a question. You yourself, you transitioned from a son to a brother to a father. Nobody gave you a job mandate to say, this is your role is changing, please adapt. Life happened and you are able to adapt. So it's in us to be able to embrace the change that is happening. All of a sudden, you take all these people and you put them in an organization, and all of a sudden they are saying, no, I cannot change. I am so used to my olden days, my old ways, and they don't want to change. Now, I need to train them, and I need to tell them how to embrace change when they've been doing it all their life. So, Swamiji, help.
No, you have already done your job, I think. No help is necessary. They call it change management. Is it? Your boss is here? No, no? It is true what you said. It's very good that you said that. Everywhere we are adapting to the change. Somebody is very poor. When he gets lot of money, he has to learn, go under Jnana Selvi to learn change management. He will adapt to the lifestyle. Everywhere we are doing. Where we are not doing means there is a resistance in our mind not to accept that. That has to be treated. Otherwise we are given to adapt to the change naturally. Wherever we are going, we are adapting to the change. Where we are not accepting the change means there is some trouble in the mind. Now in an organization when it is happening, most probably it is the trouble in the senior organization, the managing people themselves. Why should they have problem like that? Everybody will automatically adjust to the change. Or maybe these management consultants have made everything theoretical. That without thinking of change management, we will not be able to adapt in our family. Suppose you have married somebody. Now leaving the married life, you have to learn change management to accept. We have become so theoretical about everything. So you will get more and more jobs as we develop like this. Yeah. Anything else?
Swamiji, I have a question to follow up on change management. How do you stay relevant, Swamiji?
It will come.
Nyasar just spoke about change management. How do you stay relevant, Swamiji?
Where?
In everything. Because a lot of things like what Nyasar just mentioned, a lot of things have become irrelevant. The way people think, the way people act, some people are clinging on to their past actions, so they say, this is how I have lived for so many years, I will not change.
That is the resistance to adapt to situation, they become irrelevant. That is true everywhere. We should be readily, actually, they should not have to be told. By oneself, one should become, we should adapt to whatever is the situation. When we cling to certain, that is what Bhagavad Gita is discussing again, and this is asakti and sakti, that we cling to a situation, we cling to a certain concept about myself, cling to a certain concept about my job, and I cannot do anything else. Actually, we can do anything. As I said that I hated construction, but when I came to the ashram to study, I did not have any time to study, and throughout for 25, 30 years, more than 30 years, only construction throughout, not only in ashram, in Delhi, in Jamshedpur. Malaysia, of course, did not trouble me so much, except regularly Rama calling me that contractor is saying this. What shall we do? So selecting the color and the design and all, so I did not have to do anything properly. So is it not whatever you have to do, and we will get a joy when a full, wholesome dedication is there. Whatever we do, it will become joyful. It's not a question of liking or disliking. Everything will become joyful. So when that is not there, we are not adapting to the change, then we become irrelevant also. Because nobody can utilize such a person around. We should have our own adaptability and corresponding elegance. We should do it elegantly, whatever changes are taking place around. Does it answer you?
Yes, Swamiji, but in terms of relevance, Nyasar just mentioned the boss comes all of a sudden one day, I want you to do change management. So these bosses think that change has to happen. But people at the bottom would have thought about it long ago. Probably they would have also seen, okay, time to leave my organization, go elsewhere. Why is it that Swamiji, a top-down approach is the only thing that usually works, but people are, like when they reach a certain level, they fail to understand or accept or hear what the word
I don't think it is like that. Those who learn in their job properly, they will rise to any height, and anywhere they will be remaining quite fruitful. And I mean, what do you call it? What word will you use? Who are adapting everything? Flexible also. I belong to Jamshedpur, so all the people I knew, they were working in Tata Tisco. So many such experiences are there. How they used to take to, and they sometimes about JRD, my father himself had told that he had come to visit, and at one point one machinery, something was wrong, and people were struggling to find out what has happened. So he was passing by. He just came close to that and looked into that. And he suggested that one wrong portion has been fitted there. See, others, those who are actually expert fabricator, or those who are engineers there working, they are not able to find out. Because the problem was a very fundamental problem. And he just looking at it for some time, seeing here, there, he says that he detects the problem. How does he do it? Because of his interest in everything in a fundamental level. This happens very often everywhere. We so much get engrossed with the surface level that we miss the fundamental points there. If you go deep into it, there will be so many that specific examples have to be taken. That is, those who are not able to do, what are the problems with their mind? Unless they are sorted out, they will become outdated. That happens. We have some tendency towards dementia and Alzheimer. We forget names, forget the words. I always say that my Google search function has gone wrong. Search engine has gone wrong. It's not that memory, anything to do with the memory, because all the words are there, everything is there, I know very well. But the search engine has become very sluggish. It's not able to find out. Sometimes for 5-6 days I am not able to remember the name. Very close, like Miru or somebody. Suddenly the Miru name will not come. Sitting here, and I stop talking also, because if I am caught that the name is, I don't remember her name, she will be very much affected. So, even it so happened that once when we were in the ashram, one Purvashrama family, somebody got married and he came with the wife. And they are very well known to me also, the wife's name also I knew. But when they arrived, the wife's name was not coming to my mind. And I was not ready to openly say at that time that, my mind has become like this, search engine has gone wrong. Please tell your name, I have forgotten your name. I think that I will get back the name. 2 days passed. And one day afternoon we had gone for a tour in the village and taking them, showing around the village. I was not able to remember her name even then. Then rain came. And we got into a veranda of a house just to get protected from the rain. We entered the veranda and we were standing there. Standing there, I was thinking and said that no, it is too long. Today I will tell her that all along, all these 2-3 days, I have not been able to remember your name. This is my trouble. Nothing to do with that. I don't love you or anything. It's not like that. That is fully there, but the name is not coming. The moment I thought of telling that, the name came to my mind. Why am I saying that my Purvashrama brother also has similar problem? Not so much, but to some extent he developed that problem. So in the company he was working, he left the job when I asked that what happened, he said that actually sitting in the director board meeting, I have to say something about somebody, that some other things have gone wrong. I am not able to remember the name of the person about whom I have to speak. Such a position. So there, in my case, I could openly say that I have forgotten your name, and in a company you cannot work like that. So he left the company. Because of that, he left his job. It is not adapting to the situation. I am not fit for the job, so I am getting out of it. Even if I am fit, I can leave. That is another point. But understanding the situation that this job needs a certain thing which I don't have, simply leave. There is no prestige involved. Nothing is involved. It is an elegant way. We should not bother about it at all. It's the proper way of life to take to the situation. Similarly, if your boss sacks you, sends you away, gladly you should say, happily I am going. You don't need me, so why should I be there? You should simply leave. Once I had, that was in IIT Kharagpur, I was about to leave and join the ashram. It's about 6 months before that, or maybe around 1 year. We had gone for a conference in Delhi IIT, for about 5 days or so. So when the conference was over, no, it was over much before its scheduled time. Everything was done. So immediately I got a scope, I ran to Rishikesh. Ran to means I went to Rishikesh to see a Mahatma there to whom we used to go and meet also. So I went there. And going there, I did not felt like coming back soon. So that whatever period was there for attending the conference, that passed. After that 7 days passed. And I did not write anything to the head of the department also, that I will not be able to come, I am doing this, doing that, or anything. Nobody knew. No letter, nothing. And those days it was not mobile that you can call and tell. Nothing was there. You have to write. Even email was not there so much, I think. So finally when I came and met my head of the department, he said that, do you know that in such a case you can be sent away? I said that please do it. I will be very happy. I will immediately go to Rishikesh. Why don't you? Because I have been thinking how to leave the job, when to leave the job. Is it the time? If you send me away, then it automatically nature takes the decision and I will simply go. Oh, he was so shocked, but he could not do anything than to fall in love with me more. To the children, that is why we always, not to the children, to everybody, be very open, truthful, open. That will give you a lot of courage. If courageously you do, you will have the courage that if it doesn't work, doesn't work. How does it matter? Maximum I will die. What is there so much to be intolerant about death? So be very open, truthful, to say whatever is there openly. You will find that most of the problems will be solved. Whether it is in school or in the factory or company or wherever. Sheshkotta, what is the time? 1 more question we can reply if anybody has. Who is that? I have not seen him, no? Huh? Can you remove the mask a little? No, I haven't met you, no? Earlier. You are coming for the first time? From where?
My name is Ashim Nandi.
Huh?
Ashim Nandi. Ashim Nondi. Yeah.
Bengali.
Yes.
From where? You, nearby?
Yeah. Stay down the road.
That's
Not very far.
Our lawyer.
Drafted our SNP agreement and all that.
Oh,
Her name is Renuka.
see,
No.
Unni is also
I
forgetting.
am talking to the
Just
lawyer. Yeah, her name I know. I'm looking at the relationship. Renuka is our lawyer. Husband is Rajagopal. Rajagopal's niece is Shamala.
Who is Shamala? Shamala?
His wife we just stepped out. So he is a doctor at the Pantai hospital, a surgeon in the Pantai hospital. He is a surgeon.
Just now you said advocate?
That is,
Oh, wife is it? Oh, you are a surgeon in Pantai. Miru knows you? No. Dr. Damu. In Malaysia, Bengalis are very less, no? Mostly Tamil and Malayalis. Punjabis are there? Anything else? Last question? What is your name? Parimala's sister? My name is Sundari. Acha.
Swamiji, I recently read a statistics report. Usually the top management in a company, they have high performers but low trust. So this person is usually the boss, the manager, who kind of tries to control the whole workforce to make them listen to him, not giving them enough freedom. But there is also this one person, in a team of say 10, there is always this one person who is probably a medium performer but high trust. So this person will always be in a corner sitting somewhere there. He will try to help as much as he can, probably not have much of the raga dvesha. He'll keep doing what he has to do, but he will never get a chance to be going up or be heard. Usually the guy who's a high performer and low trust is the one always keeps going on.
Not always, I will not agree. In real good company, those who go up to the topmost level, at the very top level, they will not be like that at all. They are not just high performer or anything. They will have great values, ethical values, everything will be there. They go to the, it is there in the report also, those who go to the topmost level, they are also always of a different qualitative characteristics there. Other small company, it might be true, that is possible. See, to go to higher and higher level, you have to, the dimension has to be more. Those who are very staunch, honest, and they have a very rigid idea about honesty, you will find they also will not be able to rise very high. Because as you go up, you have to balance many things. You have to transcend many things. Even Bhagavad Gita, is it not saying transcending Shubha, Ashubha, transcending Papa, Punya? Those who are, that I will never do a Papa, I will only be doing Punya and running after Punya, their ego will go on increasing, that I am only Punya Krita. So you have to transcend both Papa, Punya there. Although you will not do anything sinful, but you have to transcend that. So similarly in companies also, a person going to a higher and higher level will have to transcend his various rigid constricted ideas and concepts. Okay. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam Prasannam sada nityabodhaswarupam Param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam Bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam Prasannam sada nityabodhaswarupam Param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam Bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi. Just one incident. One very high performer, reputed performer, was appointed as the chairman of the board of governors of IIT Kharagpur. When we were there, the chairman of the board of governors of IIT Kharagpur, he was a very reputed person, I don't want to take the name. So the first day he visited IIT Kharagpur, entering the office area and all, first thing he asked was, what are the ways of sacking people here? Can you imagine? He could not do anything. Within 1 year he had to leave perhaps. And it was a very troubled period, constantly agitations going on, so many demonstrations and all. Finally he had to leave. And he is not the director, he is appointed as the chairman of the board of governors. The director can think of how to sack and all. The chairman joining the institute for the first time, and that to an educational institute. He has never come to an education, he has never worked for an educational institute earlier. He came from the corporate sector. So there are people who have gone to very high level also, but they are not really of that dimension. So finally they have not a very good ending. People will not like. Okay.